Well, good morning, and thank you for joining us, and thank you for being here. I'm Harper, and it's an honor to serve as the 17th Commissioner of Agriculture for the great state. I'm joined this morning on the screen with Pierce County Sheriff Ramsey Bennett. I'm also joined by our Director of Law Enforcement, Harlan Prevost, here at the department, and also joined by a couple of members of the General Assembly. Jason Anavatarte, Senator Anavatarte is the Majority Caucus Chairman in the State Senate. Representative Penny Houston, who is Chairman of the General Government Subcommittee on Appropriations, and the Chairman of the House Ag Committee, Representative Robert Dickey. So glad to have them with us as well. This morning, we just wanted to take an opportunity to brief you on a recent investigation. But before we do that, upon taking office here at the department, it was a priority of mine as the Commissioner to reinstate our law enforcement division at the Department of Agriculture and restoring the Department of Ag's law enforcement authority, as well as our status as a law enforcement agency. In doing so, I brought in Harlan Prevost, a 30-year veteran, both law enforcement and emergency management across our state, from local agencies to state agencies, to head up our law enforcement and emergency management division. Unfortunately, just like any other industry across the state and across the country, the agriculture sector is not immune to criminal activity. It is, I say all the time, just like water takes the easiest path, so does criminal activity from time to time as well, and agriculture has seen its fair share of that. So protecting farmers, protecting producers, protecting agriculture, protecting livestock, protecting animals, protecting the welfare of our agricultural industry is what we do at the Department of Agriculture, and our law enforcement division helps ensure that we do that. We have sent a clear message working with our state partners and our local partners, as will be shown this morning, that in the department and our law enforcement division, if you engage in criminal activity in our state in the agricultural sector, if you work to try to jeopardize our food supply, our food safety, or food security, whether that's through drug trafficking, labor trafficking, or animal cruelty, you will be caught, you will be prosecuted, and you will be held accountable for your actions. And that's what we're here to announce this morning. About 4 weeks ago, I'm going to give some high points of a case that we recently have been involved with, and I'm going to let the sheriff give more of the detailed descriptions. But about 4 weeks ago, the Pierce County Sheriff's Office reached out to the Department of Agriculture and our law enforcement division in relation to an investigation of an alleged food manufacturing facility located in Pierce County, and they asked for our assistance. During this investigation, it was determined that there were illicit activity being conducted on the premises. Last week, officers from the Georgia Department of Agriculture, from the Pierce County Sheriff's Office, and other state agencies executed a search warrant registered on the property registered to HG LLC. While executing the search warrant, the officers discovered the largest indoor marijuana grow operation in Pierce County history. Over 11,000 marijuana plants were seized with an estimated street value of $22.35 million. And 4 Chinese nationals were arrested in relation to this particular operation. At this time, I'm going to pass it over to Sheriff Bennett and let him give more details related to the case. I appreciate the cooperation of the Sheriff and the Pierce County Sheriff's Office and our team effort in making this happen. So, Sheriff, I'm going to pass it over to you for any comments and in more detail in relation to the case.
Thank you, Commissioner. It's a pleasure to have had the assistance of your office to help us with this investigation. Like you said, roughly 4 weeks ago, we began a pretty serious inquiry into what was going on at this facility. People at the facility told an undercover detective from the Pierce County Sheriff's Office that they were growing and processing an edible food product in this county, which then led us to call you because that fell under your department's jurisdiction, and we needed your help then to investigate that. In the furtherance of that investigation, we discovered that that was not the case, that indeed there was illegal activity going on at this location. As you said, last Friday morning, we executed a search warrant with the help of your law enforcement division and our other state partners that helped us, where we discovered on the premises 11,153 marijuana plants. in stages from seedlings to full harvest. And we estimate that street value to be $22.3 million. This was the largest seizure ever in Pierce County, and I think a pretty large seizure anywhere in the state. So we just pleased to have this part of the criminal element in jail and this much dope off the street. We do have 4 Chinese nationals in jail. One does have an ICE detainer. The other 3 appear to be in the country legally. Bond for all 4 has been denied. So that's where we are this morning.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sheriff. Again, as I said earlier, I appreciate our collaborative efforts between our agencies, and I appreciate our work together in addressing this issue and ensuring that we're protecting the citizens, not only of Pierce County, but the citizens of the state of Georgia. And I think this is a perfect example of one of those issues as we've discussed, related to individuals who look to try to do us harm, or even try to utilize an agricultural operation as a cover to cover up their illicit activity, which in turn can be detrimental to the citizens of our state. So with that, we'll open it up for any questions that you may have.
I do have a couple of questions for the sheriff, but for you first, Commissioner.
Yes, sir.
You kind of just mentioned it was a cover. Like, how does your office get involved in play just because they thought it was food manufacturing?
So the sheriff.
What were they?
So the sheriff's office, in their investigation, initial investigation, it was determined that there was an alleged food processing facility, which they were allegedly processing fish. So that completely falls within the jurisdiction of the Department of Agriculture, as we license and regulate food processing facilities in the state of Georgia. So in turn, the sheriff and his team reached out to our law enforcement division to help them investigate that particular facility. And because of that, that falls in our jurisdiction. So that gave us the ability to assist with that investigation, which brought that within our purview as an agency. And so we assisted the Pierce County Sheriff's Office in that investigation, and we've already laid out what was the result of that investigation, and the criminal element that was active.
And I don't know who can answer this, but I guess you talk about the cover story. This obviously wasn't a fish farm or fish producing, but do you know how long they've been there or doing this, or how long, anything that you can say, or how long they've been in the country? Or
I'll pitch that to the sheriff.
I don't know if you hear me.
This facility had the electricity turned on in 2022. So they've been open and operational since 2022.
And can you talk a little more about what you found? I saw a little bit of the video that you're going to give to us of just what you found when you went in there, and just kind of how they were operating this. I guess it was all hidden from,
Yeah,
I know Pierce County is a pretty rural area. It was kind of hard to figure out what was going on in there.
That's correct. Extremely rural. And then they were pretty far off the paved road too. So what we found was a very high-tech growing operation, utilizing electric lighting, and they were watering by hand, had a tailwater recovery system so that any excess water where they watered the plants was recovered and then put back in their holding facility and used again. And like I said, the plant size ranged from seedlings up to plants under harvest.
And with that many plants, what was the finished product, or what were they doing with it? Have you figured that out yet, of where this was going or what they were doing with it? Or
Well, we do know that people within the organization that we're familiar with here in the county, they have ties from Staten Island to the Houston metropolitan area. So, it could be anywhere in between.
so overall, this is pretty high tech, pretty organized operation they were running. It wasn't just a farmer out there.
Yeah, this wasn't your average South Georgia countryman with a few plants in the backyard or a few plants in the closet. No, it far exceeds that.
This was to follow up on that point by the sheriff, this was a very sophisticated operation, hundreds of thousands of dollars in infrastructure in the facility. And as the sheriff mentioned, already indications of ties back to New York and Houston, and which is indicative of a national crime syndicate or possible issues that are not just related strictly to Pierce County, that this could actually have tentacles that spread far past Pierce County and even the borders of the state of Georgia. But obviously, this is an ongoing investigation. The sheriff's office is leading the investigation, and we're working cooperatively with them as we continue the investigation to find out more information related to this. But it was a very sophisticated operation. And as the sheriff mentioned, it's unlike a normal a marijuana grow or marijuana operation that you typically would find in rural South Georgia. It is a very sophisticated operation.
Could this turn into like an FBI or DEA type situation?
I know the sheriff has started conversations with some of our friends on the federal level. Sheriff, I don't know if you want to respond to that question related to FBI or DEA.
I can tell you that our federal partners are involved in furthering this investigation. And as we get more information, more of that will come out.
What are they charged? What are they charged with? Thank you. And what are they charged with, or what's the charges?
They are currently charged with felony possession of marijuana and felony manufacturing of marijuana. And as soon as we get the product dried and weighed, then we will proceed then with the appropriate charges based on trafficking.
Anything else?
Any other questions? Sheriff, anything else you want to add?
I think that pretty well covers it.
Good deal.
Just thank you to your office and your men for all the assistance they gave us in this investigation.
Yes, sir. Happy to help anytime. And thank you for the cooperation and the partnership. Thank y'all for being here. That concludes the press conference. We appreciate it.